I told you. I told you it was going to happen. I warned us and you. It's zucchini season. It's not really zucchini season. It's I've got too many damn zucchini season.
No one ever remembers that if you just plant one, that's more than you'll ever need in your lifetime.
Really.
You do the nice row because it looks so pretty when it's all even out.
Don't do it. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't.
Where did you find this one? Because this is like
car seat.
This is the warning shot, isn't it?
I didn't lock my car.
What's wrong with you?
And that's what showed up. Now,
you know what zucchini season's like.
And it gets worse after this. Our friends are very immature. We had remember? We had a scarecrow on our front porch.
Oh, yeah.
All right? And then someone strategically placed...
That would be Bill.
Or Ryan.
No, it totally could have been Ryan.
I'm going to go with Ryan. In a place that was inappropriate.
We really have immature friends.
No, what we have is, I have a couple extra zucchini plants, and it is on. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, we appreciate your generosity with the squash. Don't do it anymore.
Is this the dog days of summer? Because it's only July. I thought that was August.
It's usually August, but it's been like, you remember it was sort of mild, and now it just went crazy. 95s, 100s, whatever. It's really interesting. You've ever driven around, or Erin walks and stuff, and all you see is that one house that's got weeds, like... And the neighbors are always like, should we just give up and go water it and mow it ourselves? I mean, they are.
But there's no grass under there. And they have thousands of trees, little trees coming up. I love that, by the way. I think people have turned their front yards into forests and stuff. I think that is something that in my lifetime I'm going to do. But this guy in Ogden...
Are we still going to be married then?
So this guy in Ogden... his name is Michael Goldman. He was having difficulties with his front yard, and his yard just had grass, and it was dead, and so it's all brown, and that's the way it is. And
you don't come back from that. You have to because this is your thing, and this isn't mine. But
you can.
Do you have to like rip all the dead stuff up,
no.
and then you have to
Depends how dead it is.
Okay.
Now I'm going to give you a dad moment right now, aren't I?
Go for it.
All right. Don't plant seed now. Don't do it. Don't fertilize your lawn, because you're fertilizing your lawn and all this stuff, and the lawn puts up brand new shoots, which are oh so tender, like the baby's skin, and they fry. They just die. They fry and they die, and it won't work. So anyway, the city came up to him and said, "Listen, we have an ordinance about this that you keep your yard
green.
Green.
They will be green.
Take the weeds down." And get it green, and they gave him 10 days. All right, so.
I'm pretty sure, I'm not the gardening expert here. I mow the lawn, but that's about as close as I get to knowing anything about it.
Which makes you a grass killer, by the way. I just didn't know if you knew that.
I'm an eco-terrorist, thank you.
You are.
But I don't think you could pull back from a dead lawn in 10 days, am I right?
Right.
Yeah, okay, go on.
And the fines were substantial, what they were going to do to him. And evidently someone complained, and the city came out, and they're just following the books and being jerks. And they said, you got 10 days to make your grass green. And he goes, well, there's no way. And I said, he goes, I'm working on the backyard, and that's going to take about 2 years to like landscape and stuff. And it's like $2,000 to do the backyard and stuff.
Most of us are kind of on a budget, and that's kind of fairly infeasible.
But they were really concerned about the front yard. And they said, listen, for every day you don't comply, we're going to fine you.
These fines are nuts. They're usually like $50 to $100, $150 a day. And that adds up. I mean, can you imagine? Like,
Non-compliance. So he started to do some research, and I thought this was rather genius, because it's done someplace else. Using environmental safe paint used on golf courses and football fields. Right?
I love that.
So what is it?
Can we do that?
So what is it, water-based? I'm not sure, but anyway, he got a sprayer, and he edged off like you do with a kitchen wall, edged off the edges against the sidewalk and stuff, and went through and sprayed it. And turned it green. Now they haven't come out yet to assess
it's green. What do you want?
The greenness of it. But people put down fake grass now in the parking strips. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
We've seen it on our walks. They put down actually fake turf.
Like, I don't have the effort to fix the parking strips.
Because they will make you do that in the city. They will actually make you do that. And you have one of those neighbors that has their heads shoved up there. They cannot fine you because your grass is green. It's plastic, but it's green.
Who cares? It's green.
So anyway, he did that, and he is now awaiting judgment
by the enforcement officer.
You know what? I literally want to camp out in front of his house. Just
I really
waiting,
do.
Like,
I really do too.
complaints?
With banners and you shake them.
Seriously, don't you want to? I mean, on principle? I would pay money to see the inspector's expression when he has to write out a compliance and hand it to him.
But
it's green.
The funny thing is, you know, all the huge droughts that have been in California over the years, and they actually had a business that came out and did this for you. And they would edge your yard so it didn't get on the sidewalk and all that stuff. And they just and turn it green, because I can't imagine having a dead lawn. I can't imagine.
It's a very sad thing. I think. Well, I tried to xeriscape it or something because it would just be too painful to see it every day.
But every time I think of xeriscaping, I think of a fake cactus with a cow skull and a rock.
You know, it's.
And I know there's more to it.
Better than that now.
I know, but.
Okay.
So anyway,
that is freaking awesome. I love him so much.
So I was running on my treadmill last night in the basement. Kind of proud that I bought it 8 months.
Oh, that's not the important part.
8 months ago.
You finally stepped on it, and
last
I think
night
that's what matters.
Was the first time. When buying a piece of this equipment, I think it's really important to figure out how many clothes you can hang on it with their hangers, because that's kind of what they turn into. But yesterday, I went and did it.
Proud of you. How do you feel?
Exhausted. I slept 3 times yesterday.
Well,
but
it was a very hard workout.
There's always fitness crazes.
Well, you know, and I've done some of them. I've done some of them. I've done some of the weirdest ones.
Like?
I tried, well, high yoga, but we know how that turned out. And I was invited not to ever come back again.
Didn't work out
when
well.
the yoga instructor slipped in my pool of sweat and hurt herself. And there were a couple of the other weird ones I did. But mermaid fitness, I'm torn on. They call it mermaid fitness, and essentially you go to the pool, you pull on one of these mermaid tails.
With both your feet in? Okay.
And then you flop yourself in the water, and you got your hands to paddle, and then you have the desperate undulation of the
What do they call?
tail.
What do they call that? The porpoise? No, it's in the Olympics. What is it called?
Well, apparently nobody knows how to do it, but it's interesting. It's a transformational course. In the pool with mermaid tails provided by Fin Fun Mermaid. Apparently, they have sold out of stock of their tails, and they have to. They're like have this manufacturing and overtime action going on in China to produce more tails.
Right.
The woman who created it says, like swimming, mermaiding is a full body workout, especially focusing on the core.
The core, I can see the core.
It's always the core.
Right, and I have a thing for mermaids, so you know.
Yeah, but it's meant to be a workout, not weird. And she says water provides the resistance.
So I can't go watch and eat popcorn.
The inability to be able to move your legs requires you to exercise more of your other body's muscles in order to create the fitness.
No, in order to not drown.
That would be another one, I think. It strengthens your heart, increases your lung capacity, probably because you're underwater most of the time.
Screaming.
To fin.
Screaming.
And improves your flexibility. Now, admittedly, I'm not going to lie. I think the first time in a tail would be cool. And every little girl, I mean, Zoe, there's a great group here called Mermaids of the Salt Lake, the Great Salt Lake, who are adorable. And they go hang out at pools, and they're very sweet to kids. And one gave my Zoe that little barrette that had the little seashells on it.
Right.
And so she's loved them ever since. Little girls love mermaids. But I'm still not sticking my kid in a tail and then throwing her in. Zoe's a good swimmer, but I'm not trusting her to be able to handle the tail.
I'm an okay swimmer. I've gotten to the point where I'm comfortable in the water, but the last thing I would want to do is restrain my feet to go swimming. It's like, here, Todd, here's an anchor. Swim!
You're going down for the third time. The coach is going, it's upper body fitness.
Yeah, I'd give you upper body fitness.
I don't know.
All right.
Yes.
Time for Tell Me Something Good. Tell Me Something Good is being brought to you by PC Laptops. If you're looking for a laptop, whether you are a grandma, grandpa, want to keep in touch with their kids, do some Skyping, do some Facebook, that's great. Kid going to college, studying physics, they have laptops and desktops for you. Right now, they're starting at $7.99. Here's the one thing that makes a difference. First of all, they're local, 10 locations. And number two is it's a lifetime warranty on parts and labor.
Lifetime.
Where can you lose?
So anyway, check them out at PC Laptops.
Oh, and they repair phones too, like the phone screens. Big deal.
Tell me something good.
All right, now everybody knows this man, and I think, and if you're younger and you don't, let me tell you, 70 years ago, it was a man from Salt Lake City. He was a U.S. Air Force pilot. He went down in history.
World War II.
Because he began dropping candy with miniature parachutes. They called him the candy bomber.
Now this is when populations were surrounded by the Germans and had no access.
This one was actually interesting. It was 1948. The Soviet Union had instituted the Berlin blockade that cut off all the inroads to West Berlin, and it was interesting. Technically, they were our allies. This is World War II, although I think this is before they came into the hardcore, now we're allies situation.
Right.
But all of the other allied countries are like, you're starving people.
Right.
And they started doing humanitarian aid, and the Russians did not stop that.
They did airdrops of food and medicine.
It was pretty brutal. So for nearly a year, 250,000 flights, thousands of tons of food and fuel, coal, liquid fuel, because it was strangled. Surrounded by 1.5 million Soviet military troops.
And that was parachuted in.
And it was called Operation Vittles. Now, Captain Gil Halverson, who was one of the airlift pilots, used his off time to fly into Berlin. He made movies with this little handheld camera, and he talked to a lot of the kids, and he passed out kind of hygiene items and stuff they may not have had. But he had a group of kids who came over to watch what he was doing with his aircraft, and they were asking him questions, and they were so cute. And he wanted to do something. He reached in his pocket, and only two things he had were 2 sticks of Wrigley's gum.
Oh boy!
Now here's the part that's going to kill you. So he handed them up, and this group of 10 kids like carefully tore the little sticks so that each one could have a little piece. And they even passed around the candy wrappers, so you could smell, the smell of spearmint gum and the little bit of powdered sugar on it to keep it straight. And
now
dry.
they were going there like on a daily basis, doing all the fuel and the medicine and stuff. But then he had another idea.
He was so impressed by their gratitude and the fact these kids didn't even fight over the gum. And he's like thinking, every kid deserves something. So he said, I'm going to come back and I'm going to drop something for you guys, and you're going to know it's me because I'm going to waggle my wings. You know how they do that on flights? And so the next day he rocked the aircraft and he dropped chocolate bars with handmade handkerchief parachutes. And naturally it was a huge hit. Everybody loved the idea. And he started getting letters to the chocolate uncle, Uncle Wiggly Wings, the chocolate flyer, and a couple of other officers heard about it and went, that's freaking awesome, we have to do that. So they built this huge campaign around the candy bomber and what he was doing. And at home, you were telling me this, the big call, not for candy because Hershey's supplied a lot, but what would they ask for?
Well, they asked for everything, but coming from Utah, don't challenge people from Utah.
We have a phone tree like you can't believe.
So they started making handkerchiefs, making shapes that would work, and then tying the strings to them and sending them over there.
For the parachutes.
Because the parachutes, they could get the candy. For some reason, they got the connection, but they didn't have stuff to drop it with. Because no one wants to get hit by a Hershey bar going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, that kind of takes the humanitarian. So in the end, over 23 tons of candy were dropped on Berlin during the airlift that kept the blockaded city alive. It was a huge success. And the thing that I love most about it is, number one, he's from Salt Lake City, so he's our guy. But number two, this is today is the official holiday. This is the official starting day when Captain Halverson
70 years
ago began dropping candy to the kids in Germany.
There you go.
So it was like a cool memory. I wanted to bring it back up.
Good story. Coming up next, we've been accused of me forcing Erin to eat strange things in Todd's Test Kitchen. And today is no different. And we'll be back with that right after this. Well, here we are in Todd's Test Kitchen. And I'm a little frightened.
Where did you get this one? Is this another one of the Twitter ones?
Online. They're all online, and these weird food combinations that people are just raving about. So today you went to the store. Now usually goes with a glass of milk. An Oreo cookie.
What's the matter?
What? These aren't normal.
Oh no, I got some with the Pop Rocks in them. They call them fireworks Oreos because it was,
Couldn't just get plain ones.
That's really all they had.
All right, well, so I'm going to
It
take...
looks almost identical. Now, what are we doing
except
now?
they explode in your mouth. All right,
So traditionally, you have an Oreo and milk, and life is good. So what do you do now?
Life is wonderful. So what we're going to do now is try the new food craze.
What is this
with
taste
some Oreos.
sensation?
And I would like you to hold up one. Now, once again, we are being struck by the lobby group for...
Oh no, this isn't another one of the pickle ones, is it?
dill pickles.
You remember the soft served ice cream cone and dill pickle episode? That was not good. What are we gonna do with it?
I've dried them off so they won't be like soggy.
So this is a thing.
Place one of these on yours.
Do you do it inside?
No, just on top.
Okay.
Give me one on top. No, a smaller one. That's the big one. What's wrong with you? What?
I'm not suffering alone.
So first of all, what do you imagine this is going to be like?
I'm not a fan of Oreos, so I'm not much help. But I'm guessing the combination of crunchy, sickly sweet, and then dill is going to be troubling in every possible
plus
way.
the Pop Rocks.
Well, that's just an extra.
The whole thing. You ready?
I can't eat the whole thing.
One. Things we do for you. 2, 3.
Oh my God, the texture is hair. It's like this gluey mess inside my mouth.
That, 3 words. Attack against humanity. What? You don't even like milk.
They're still popping in my mouth.
All right, so on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the best and 1 being no.
The combination of the taste was not the problem. It was weird, like, but I'm like, okay, I could see where some people like it, but the texture is horrifying because you're trying to chew through the glutinous mess of the frosting and the crispiness of the wafer cookie, and then that all-enveloping sort of like spongy, you can't chew me no matter how hard you try pickle thing.
Right.
Was really horrifying.
1 to 10.
4, 3.
Really? Mm-hmm. Didn't make my scale.
Really?
0.
Really?
If someone came up
The
to
taste was not the worst thing in the world, but that texture was death.
If someone came up to you and they said, Oreos and milk, you would say, absolutely. What a great friend you are. If somebody came up and said, Oreos and dill pickles, you would no longer be friends.
Well, apparently if you're one of the followers on Twitter who loves this combination, you would still be friends, but
What is wrong with you?
I think there's something troubling
They
there.
need a new hobby or they need to become a better cook.
Or maybe they're being punished for something.
No, we're being punished.
Your
All right.
food trends are killing us slowly.
All right, so thanks very much. That's all.
Yeah, even
from
the ice cream one was better than that.
Todd's Test Kitchen. Ew.
I feel in my tongue still. What kind of a husband are you? Why would you do that to me again? I can still taste it.
There must be money behind the dill pickle,
It's the dark dill pickle lobby.
the lobbyists.
Yeah, you know there's one.
They keep.
They're trying to make dill pickles sexy again, the way they did like with Brussels sprouts.
It's not going to have celery. They tried that too, and like. The question I have is why you would know this going in that it would be wrong. It's not like you suddenly went, oh, that is bad. I knew going in it would be horrible.
Then why did you do that to me?
Because we need to expand our horizons. And I'm not going to suffer alone.
Yeah, that's more likely.
All right, so
We're starting with one bad piece of news, but it's important, so this is why. Okay.
Go ahead.
You remember the story? This is brutal. It was a couple of kids who apparently ordered a shipment of drugs through the dark web They're pink. It's called pink. It's one of those synthetic drugs.
Usually from China.
It killed 2 boys in 2016 up in Summit County. Brian Ainsworth and Grant Seaver, only 13 years old.
Yeah.
Both died within days of each other after using the synthetic drug. There were some kids that were sentenced to probation and community service and fine prior to the shipment, which I still kind of think was too easy, but okay. But apparently, the Summit County attorney is warning that one of the teens who was involved in that last one has managed to procure another massive shipment of drugs. Now, if they know the kid, I'm not sure why they can't get a hold of the drugs, but apparently they're dispersed. This new version of pink is so vicious that it can literally be lethal to the touch.
As a matter of fact.
So that's terrifying.
As a matter of fact, something delivered to your house or your neighbor's house, because this is one of the things the kids are doing. They mail it to the next door neighbors. The next door neighbor brings it over because it was brought to the wrong house with a name and such. And they're saying, don't touch the package, especially as a Chinese address on it. Don't touch the package. You call the police. They'll send hazmat out. Because fentanyl, remember that one cop, he just touched it and brushed it off.
Yes,
next thing you know, he's in the hospital. Anyway, so just be aware, talk to your kids about it. The kids already know about it. They really do.
At 13 years old.
They already know about this. And they not that they've had experience with it, but they are aware that this stuff is going on.
Yeah,
so,
it's a synthetic drug called U-47700, but the kids call it pink. The kids, but
is this new one called pink? Because I didn't think it was.
This is a new synthetic version of pink.
Right.
Well, the other one was synthetic too, but I guess this is a more brutally intense version. It's so vicious it can literally kill you by touch.
Well, there's some knowledge.
That's a big thing to talk to your kids about, and they say this is unfortunately is also could be a good thing where you do open the discussion again and you go, did you hear about those 2 kids who were 13?
Right.
Can you believe?
Definitely.
You know, and it goes back to what Dr. Julie Hanks told us last week, how you talk to kids about hard stuff of, you've heard about this, how did it make you feel? And go through it in that direction with versus, you can't ever use it, you know, because that's not going to help. But anyway, fair warning, we're worried too.
I'm going to tell you something about preparing yourself for your future, and that's New Millennium Financial. And here's the interesting thing. The ages do you think that go see them, to get a financial plan for themselves, is a lot different than you think. They have 20-year-olds going. They have newlyweds going saying, okay, now I'm responsible for a family. What do I need to do? And they have 60-year-olds going there and say, how do I organize all this stuff?
I just realized Social Security is not enough.
Right.
Yeah.
So what else? How do I put it all together like a Tetris game to make it work? And all you have to do is go to Utah Financial
Planner, utahsfinancialplanner.com. utahsfinancialplanner.com, and they have a free kind of get started thing to get you going.
All right, so airplanes. We know that if you want to pause the video right now and go measure your butt. Oh, I don't have to wait. They can do it themselves.
Yeah,
okay.
That's true. Yeah.
So I measured my butt. Erin helped. Bad picture in your brain. And mine is about 18 inches across. Now,
average airplane seat now, I believe,
when I'm
is
sitting on
16 and a half, right?
There's a spreading a certain effect, but no, a 17 and a half is now the average.
Oh wow, that's generous. Just 1 inch less than your butt.
And the legroom has reduced by 1.5 inches, which doesn't sound a lot like a lot unless you're
6'2".
6'2".
And you have legs like a stork, like my husband.
So what they have now done is that if you have been on a trip and you've needed to go to the restroom,
and this is the final indignity, by the way.
You've probably noticed this, is that the bathrooms are now smaller.
Ridiculously smaller.
I'm 6'2", and I can't stand up in them. Now, what they're saying is that American Airlines, they're saying by reducing the size of the bathrooms that they can make an extra $100 million a year, and this is based on their brand new plans that can add 12 whole seats in an Airbus A320 jet. And this is according to JetBlue, who you think would care, but they don't. To the point that last time we flew together, I opened the door and I was like, wow. You actually have to decide if you're going in forward or going in
backward.
Because there's no turning around
There
once you're
is
in.
no turning around.
You gotta commit.
And it's like a little creepy, you know, and you're like, okay, and you wash your hands in the sink's the size of a bowl, and you wash your hands, and then you try
There's
to get
some
out.
great Twitter selfies of people who have got into the bathroom with most of the guys that are like hunched over like this and they're trying to do a selfie, and it's just pitiful to watch.
And if you have some girth to yourself, and I mean that in a positive way, they've actually had to help people out. And I
Think about that.
remember,
You had to wedge me out of my Mazda Miata when I was pregnant because I got stuck behind the wheel. Can you imagine what you would have to do to a poor pregnant woman to get her out of the bathroom? And if you're pregnant, you're going to the bathroom on the airplane. There's no waiting.
you're definitely going to have to back in.
I mean, that's like
Right.
I don't know if you have enough crowbars to have gotten me pregnant out of one of those bathrooms.
I came when I was flying, and I came out of the bathroom, and you know how the stewardess kind of take that break, and they're hanging out
Chilling
in the
in the
back.
jump seat,
Yeah, and remember, those 2 bathrooms are good for 156 people in coach of this. So jokingly, because that's kind of what I do, I said, well, that's the end of the Mile High Club, and they both looked at me and went, you think so? I don't think so.
No way.
Yeah, so they must have people from Cirque du Soleil.
I don't know how limber you can be, but boy, you got to have a much better motivation than I do.
You gotta, yeah, I don't. Yeah, ouch.
That just pictures. No, that's like where
I can't
things
picture it.
are like get locked, like in some sort of spasm, and then you're stuck that way till they. Never mind.
Hey, last Thursday you went out to dinner. You took Zoe
Oh,
along.
it was so fun. Thank you again, everybody who came. That was so much fun.
Fat
everybody.
Jacks. If you want burgers that are unbelievable, and some are like classics, and others are like cool, weird, good.
The Angry Blue.
Right.
The Mormon burger with funeral potatoes. I had this amazing barbecue chicken salad that was so good. Anyway.
So we invite people to go with us. How many?
And it was so much fun. Yeah,
10 couples.
Yeah, we've got 10. We've got room for 10 of you. You can bring a buddy along. A couple of the ladies brought their kids, and it was cool because I hadn't seen the kids in so long. But yeah, we would just love to have you join us. It's just a nice way to catch up. We want to know what's going on with you. We want to get some ideas from you. But it's just a nice time to have dinner together, and of course, it's on us. So if you would like to go with us, all you have to do is share the show today and just drop a comment saying, "I'd like to go to Fat Jack's on Thursday." Starts at 5:30. They're on West Temple and 2nd South.